A group of film producers have come together. Myself, Brian, Andy, and Josh have come together to film historic locations right here in Spring Hill. We want to share with you the history that exists in Spring Hill, Tennessee.
And today we're in Oaklawn Plantation, which is in Spring Hill, Tennessee, located off of Denning Lane. It also is the home of the Gray Ghost 5K.
So we're here now inside of Oaklawn, and joining us is Jimmy Campbell, who is the property manager of this beautiful location. And Jimmy, how long have you been the property manager?
I've been here for 24 years.
And how long has the property been here?
Property was built in 1835. The Native Americans were still here. There was no houses here at that time. Reverend Thompson came here. He was actually a colonel in the United States Army, and he came to this area and acquired 3,500 acres and brought his family here from West Virginia and built this home.
So now we're in one of the rooms that's right off of the entrance of Oaklawn, and Jimmy, rumor has it that this particular room has a pretty big story behind it.
It does. We refer to this room as the Red Room. It was Reverend Thompson's library, and on November the 29th, 1864, General John Bell Hood headquartered here, and as we all know, that date is the night before the Battle of Franklin. Reverend Thompson converted this library into a bedroom just for him because he only had one leg and the use of one arm, and it was just easier for him. So the night he slept here is when one of the biggest mistakes that the South made when he let the whole Northern Army slip by him and get to Franklin before he did.
Wow.
So a lot of the soldiers also, did they camp here on the property?
There was thousands of Confederate soldiers camped.
So this place has been littered with soldiers
all over the place, from here all the way to the Rippleville Plantation.
Wow.
Okay, so now we're in another room, and I see it's got this beautiful green color paint in here. How much of the stuff that we see around here is how it was originally?
Most of the house is as original as it was. Of course, there's been improvements made. You know, of course, the walls are not the same color. The furniture is not original. It took a while for us to acquire what we got.
But the furniture that's in here, it looks like they're all antiques, though.
It is period furniture, but it's not original to the house.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so let me just ask you, because one thing I love about older structures is how high the ceilings are and the big, huge windows that a lot of times practically go floor to ceiling. What was the purpose of that?
Well, Ricky, the ceilings downstairs are 14 foot. I mean, 16 foot, I'm sorry. The ceilings upstairs are 14 foot. Back in those days, a prominent family who had money to spend, then it was always bigger is better.
Okay.
So if you was a dirt farmer out there, you couldn't afford to have 16-foot ceilings because you couldn't heat it. You know, you couldn't afford to heat it. But when you was wealthy as the Thompsons were, you know, it was pretty easy for them.
So now we're on the second floor, out here on this beautiful balcony, and they just don't make these kind of structures anymore. I sure wish they did, because you've got a gorgeous view up here in this whole property.
This is a good place to come and remember, to think about the days of old. You look around, you see all these open fields, but like on November the 29th in 1864, these fields were literally covered with Confederate soldiers. There were thousands and thousands of them. And you can just imagine what it looked like looking out from here with their campfires going, you know, hearing a few rounds shoot off and, you know, singing, probably some of them playing music. You can just imagine what it was like.
And Jimmy, like we were talking about the you know, soldiers camping out here in the yard, and you can only imagine just shortly this, you know, just a little ways over the hill is where the Battle of Spring Hill took place earlier that day. Is that correct?
Oh, definitely. It's actually in this direction behind the house, which would have been to the north. And they're pretty close on the battlefield as to where they've got it located, but just on this property here, I've found hundreds and hundreds of Civil War artifacts.
Really?
So I know it was a little bit more this way, but probably the biggest bash was going on where they've got it located. Yeah.
And then that night that General Hood stayed here in the house is the night that the Union soldiers made it across and into Franklin.
Yeah, they marched right up by the front of Rippleville on the main road. unnoticed, you know, supposedly unnoticed.
Yeah.
There was a lot went on that night, a lot of questions unanswered, so who knows, you know.
Jimmy, thank you so much for sharing this beautiful property with us. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome.
Yes, Jimmy, thank you very much. And is there any place that people can go to look up the history of Oaklawn Plantation?
There definitely is. You can go to historicoaklawn.com.